Hello, we're Group 5, and this is our final instructional video on the operating features of RAINBIRD software. In this video, we will demonstrate several features of the software that allow the user to utilize it to further fine-tune their irrigation accuracy. Probably the most beneficial is using ET, or evapotranspiration values, which is the ultimate fine-tuning you can do for the irrigation on your golf course. You can write programs for high dry areas, take areas out of the program, change the way, the order that things are run. You can syringe areas, etc. And then finally, we will show you some map features that allow you to gather some very valuable course information. So question number 1 is using the freedom command to run a station. We're going to set it up to run a station for 10 minutes. So you have to open up the freedom window, and in that window is several commands. If you click the button on the bottom right hand side, it shows you all how to program all the different commands. You've got a mode command, whole number, station number. There are commands to turn on all stations, turn on a station, turn on blocks, etc. And then schedules also. So on the freedom window, you will go to the simulator. That's where you punch everything in. And your first command is pound 1, which is the course number. Then pound, in this case, we're doing hole 12. Another pound symbol, and number 1 shows that you're doing the greens, and then pound 10, which means we're going to set them on for 10 minutes. And then once you enter that, you can see that it has filled in all the areas on the command window. And it shows that you're doing 32 gallons per minute. So then we can go to the map and zoom in on hole 12, and it will show you that the greens are running on hole 12. And then we can go back to the freedom window, and if you don't want it to run for the 10 minutes, you can just go in there and go pound 00 pound, and that will turn it off. And there you can see it says turn off everything, and it also shows there's no water pumping.
Our second question for this assignment is smart alarms. We have 2 scenarios, wind and rain. First, we're going to start off by opening up our ET/weather station data, and we'll click on the bell logo. That's smart weather. Our first step is to add a smart weather condition. We're going to go high wind 1. Under comments, we will write winds over 20 miles per hour. If the system's on, do what? We want to interrupt, and now to whom is what program we pick. So we want to pick our quick ear program number 1. And second condition, we'll go high winds again. Winds under 20 miles per hour this time. And under do what, we want to put resume, because when the winds die down, we'd like our program to continue its cycle. So now a way to test this is back out of this, open up your program, simply start it. We can see by the green light we are running. we want to open up Smart Weather again and click the caution, simulate conditions, go high wind, and we can see our GPMs dropped and our light is on red and we have a system alarm. Now if we simulate the winds falling, the system turns back on and you can see it powering back up. Our next given scenario was to simulate a stoppage when 0.5 inches of rain occurs, and to pause the system when the intensity is more than 3 inches per hour. So we can start this running our program. We'll go, we see we have rain watch turned on, rain watch status, and we can create a rain can definition. So our pause threshold will be 0.5 inches. Our pause time, 1 minute, just to show as an example. And rain shutdown time, 1 inch of rain, we will shut down. So you have to unlock the generate pulse button through the third tab. Once that is done, simply generate enough pulses to get your desired amount of rain, and you can see now the system is off. We have an X through our water budget, no GPM, and our red light is on. We'll then open up our program again, start it up. Again, go into our water saver, open up rain watch conditions, definition. We'll change our pause threshold to 3 inches. We'll go down to system response because we want the whole system to respond to this, not just a certain part. Rain shutdown threshold, 4 inches. So we'll now go back into rain watch status. Rain counter, it's on 0. We'll generate and simulate rain. You see it's still running. 2.9 inches. 3 inches. Now we can see that the system is paused and it is no longer running. 1 minute to go on the timer. Now that the minute has passed, the icon has changed, our green light is on, and we can see active GPM coming from our pump. Our next question is to set up an irrigation program for our tee boxes using ET. So we're going to start creating a program. We'll name it front tees. Start time is going to be at 9 p.m. We'll repeat this process for the back 9 tees. Once this is done, click on the ET drop-down menu under the ET logo. Click Accumulated. If it's not already, click OK. Now we're using ET to drive this process. Our next step is to open up Station Detail and go to the Precipitation Data section. Once that's open, click on System Data Tables, use the drop-down menu and go to Precip Data Table, and we will start one for tees. The spacing pattern, if we cross-reference our map, is triangular. So our head spacing is 71. Our row spacing is going to be 71 times 0.866. Just 61.48. Our flow, we will select what sprinkler. We have RAINBIRD 700 series 80 psi with number 40 orange nozzles, giving us 31.9 GPM with 360-degree arc, and this gives us our precipitation rate in inches per hour. Now we go to our default data settings, click on default rotor data. We'll see that it is now inputted for the tees, and simply give this a section. Open up import data, click on all areas, all sub areas, and all the data. Click OK. And now our station detail precipitation data section has populated. Next, open weather data. Put in 0.3 under max applied, 3 under max hourly rate, and 1 under rain bucket capacity for this example. We'll then dry run this program, and we can see it completed. If we open up the dry run monitor log, for this, we can see that each T head ran for 7 minutes based off ET. Next, we can see we have all our programs here. ET is turned on for all of them. We'll go into station detail under all areas, precipitation data. We can see each area type has its own precipitation rate based on its pattern, row spacing, and arc. This data is also in default data settings under precip data. Well, now we'll dry run everything. 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. We'll go with quick dry run. And if we look at the data, our greens ran for 25 minutes, our tees ran for 19 minutes, fairways for 21 minutes, and all this is based off of 0.25 inches of ET. Our rough heads ran for 42 minutes. So these times is how long it takes to water each area type respectively to get it at a depth of 0.25 inches of water. At the top we can see our total gallons ran, 790,412 gallons.
Okay, so now we are going to build a greens program. We have a problem where our back two heads have dry areas around them. So we're going to create a program to turn on these two heads on each green through all 18. So we will have our program builder open. We want to add a program and we're going to call it dry greens. We want to go standard, hit OK, and now we want to add a schedule to our program. We will just call it dry greens 1, and we want to go by station so we can select which rotors we want. So we go OK, and then we will select the heads we want, and you can see the 1 and 2 pop up. And we're just going to go hole by hole. Hit our flag here so we can get to number 2 quicker. Okay, now here's hole 2 and we want the back two heads. And we will just continue that all the way through 18. Now that we have our perimeter heads changed to greens and our runtime set for 10 minutes, we can go ahead and set a runtime, which I have here as 3 a.m. We'll go do a dry run, make sure everything's working properly. Want it to start before our set run time and end so that we can fit it all into our dry run schedule. Hit run. There you can see it turned on at 3 a.m. Let it run through. And we can take our scroll bar and check which stations are running when and our gallons per minute. What we're going to do now is add in a new program. We have our program builder open and we added a program called B9F reverse. So we got our back 9 fairways in reverse and we want to add a schedule for each hole. So here you can see we have 18, 17, and 16 done. We'll just keep going. Add a schedule, call it back 9 fairway reverse hole. We know there's no fairway on 15, so we'll just skip to 14. And we want to go by station so we can select which rotors are coming on first. And we will go down to 14 fairway right here, and we want it in reverse going from greens to tees so we can select our closest ones to the greens first. And just work our way back station by station. That's 14. We want to save schedule. And now we want to select the program again, add another schedule. Adding individual schedules will allow you to customize each station. What we're doing now is creating a program for our fairways. We're looking to customize it to our back 9 fairways going from 18 back to 10. And we want to work from the greens back to our tees on all the holes. So what we have done so far is programs 1 to 6 is holes 18 to 12. And we've created a program on each where the irrigation comes on in sequence from greens back to the tees. So what we want to do now is finish off our back 9 with holes 11 and 10. We want to add a schedule. Name it what we've been naming everything else. Back 9 fairways in reverse, and this is hole 11. We want to make sure we're going by stations. Hit OK. And right here we have our hole 11. We want to select the ones we want to run. So we got here, here, and here. Then we go save. And now we're ready to add in another schedule. It's a 10. We make sure our program is highlighted. Add schedule. Name it. Back 9 fairway reverse hole 10. Okay. If you can't find hole 10, you just go to your flag. Hole 10. Okay. Now that we're at hole 10, right here on the left side of the screen, we can select from our, before at our greens, back to our tees. The numbers obviously meaning which ones will come on first. We're all the way back to the tees. We'll hit save. And now our back 9 custom program is ready to go. Now that our back 9 custom program is set, we want to make sure that everything's running the way we want it to through a dry run. But before our dry run, we want to open up our program. So we will close, go back to the main menu, hit our program schedule detail, hit our back 9 program. And as you can see, all of our holes are labeled here. You can select your holes. Ensure that everything is set to a 10-minute runtime. Do that on each hole. 10 minutes, and we want to make sure the sequence is as we selected on our map, which we can see it is. So we'll go back to our main screen here, and in our options we want to hit the drop down. We want to go sequential, horizontal, forced progression, so that it goes in the sequence that we established it to. We'll hit OK. By creating a schedule for each hole, we can now customize each hole's water budget and run times. To continue on our fairway program, we want to have holes 18 and 17 fairways run only every third day, so I deleted 18 and 17 off our back 9 program and created their own program. So what we want to do is select our 18 fairway green to tee program, add the schedule to it, name it fairway reverse hole 18. We want to go by station again. And we'll just repeat the same process from green to tee. Save schedule. We'll do the same thing for hole 17. Add a schedule. Go to 17. Input our rotors. Now that we have them saved, we want to make sure that they're running only for the every 3 days, every other third day that we want. So we'll select our 18, and right under days of the week here, we will open up the drop down. We want to skip days. We want to skip every 2 days so that it'll run every third, and we want that to run tonight, so we'll put that 0 days to go so that it runs tonight. And we'll do the same thing for 17. And now those 2 programs are good to go for every third day. Close this, go to our dry run function. Ensure that our windows will allow us to see our program and hit run. Our second one here is our other greens program, so we just want to focus on our first wave here, and we can see in the right side there is what stations are running when, and we see that everything is running smoothly in the way we want it to.
We have some programs set up already. They're scheduled to turn on at 9 p.m. for 10 minutes with our water budget 100%. We're going to go ahead and turn a couple areas off. So I've gone in and shut a few areas off already. So front tees, I've shut off hole 3, hole 5, and hole 8. And by shutting those off, you just double click the box and make sure the check mark's gone. That means that program's off, so it won't run. So I've done that on front tees, back greens, back greens, front approaches, and back approaches. So if we're going to go in and we can do a quick dry run here, and I'll show you they will come on. So scheduled to come on, hit play. So you'll see these holes. So 2 green didn't come on, 5 green didn't come on, 13 green didn't come on, 17 green didn't come on. So these are the areas we didn't want to water. So the tees and then the approaches, they didn't come on as well. So that's an easy way to shut off an area of the course if you don't want to water it, if it's too wet, or if you're doing some work in the area.
For the 9th question, we are required to find out how much bunker sand we need to fill every bunker to a depth of 1 foot. Our first step is to select the map button in the upper left corner. We then select the compass button in the upper left corner, go down to the ruler button at the very bottom. This is where we can take measurements of different areas on our golf course. The first thing we must do is set our units for the map. This will be the upper right button. We must change it from feet into meters. There you can see our change. If we leave our map units as feet, our answers will come up skewed. Now that our mapping is ready, we can individually select a bunker as we did there, which shows the square footage. Or on our left side, we can click bunker, right click, hit select all, and this will give us the total area in square feet of all of our bunkers. From there, we can multiply our square footage by 1 foot, which is the depth we require. By doing that, we're left with 182,295 cubic feet. From there, we divide this by 27 to go into cubic yards. That gives us 6,751.66 cubic yards, which is how many yards of sand we must order. For our 10th question, we have to determine how much the southeastern ponds can hold in gallons and for how many days they would be able to run our irrigation system at 15 minutes per station. Our first step, once again, is to get the area of our ponds. Our first area is 127,573 square feet. Our second is 126,642 square feet. In order to get those pond units, we take the area times the 10-foot depth, times that by 7.48, which is what converts it into gallons, giving us a total of 19,015,282 gallons. Now that we have our total gallons of 19,015,282, we have to set up a station that will run every single station for 15 minutes on the whole golf course. This is what we're doing here. We'll title it Water Everything. We'll start at 10 p.m. We're just going to select the front and back so every hole will run. Now we will make it so every area will run. Just confirming. And then under our run times, we're going to change each one of these to 15 minutes. That's what we're doing here. Now that every single station on the course will run for 15 minutes, we're going to go through a dry run, and this will tell us how many gallons one run through would use. Here you can see our dry run going through. Now you can see that we have used 420,213 gallons in one night. With that number, we go back to our original 19,015,282 gallons. We divide it by our new 420,213 gallons, and that gives us 45.25. That is the amount of days that our 2 ponds without being refilled would be able to run our irrigation system. Thank you for watching our final RAINBIRD Cirrus video. This one showed you some cool things you can do with it and just overall how to use this program. We hope that you have enjoyed the videos Group 5 has made.